You are listening to Offensive Lines with Marlon and Boyd. Small stakes NFL gambling for the average fan.
Welcome to Offensive Lines. I'm Marlon.
I'm Boyd.
And here we are, shockingly approaching the end of the season. Week 15.
That's crazy to think that we wait all winter and spring and summer for football to start, and it seems like it's over before you blink.
Yeah, but it also seems like it's been years. I mean, can you believe Arizona beat the Patriots in New England at the start of this season?
Well, has there ever been a team start off 4-0 and then go 0-12?
I don't know.
I can't think of one.
No, I can't either.
Everybody was picking them for the playoffs, saying they could give San Francisco a run, but that ain't happening. But we should recap what happened to us last week with our picks. And we hit one. We had Seattle -4 against Arizona, the aforementioned Cardinals.
I guess we didn't have to tease Seattle in that one.
No, 58-0. We would have covered that either way. And then we had Miami +16. We squeaked that one out. What was it, 27-13?
Yeah, it was tight. We needed the tease there.
Yes.
Our other teaser was a bit of a disaster.
You think?
New Orleans decided that special teams aren't part of the game. You know, giving up 200-odd yards on kick returns alone.
So.
And, well, that Houston Monday Nighter was... I don't know that I was shocked, but...
I was surprised.
Yeah.
I thought Houston would show up a little better.
That team cannot adjust to a 21-point deficit. They don't have the weapons in the receiving core, I don't think.
Well, they had a lot of drops. Schaub missed a lot of open guys.
I personally don't think Schaub is that good.
Well, I'll be interested to see when it could be Denver in the AFC final, but I think it's going to be Houston and New England. Be interesting to see how New England does in Houston.
Yeah, but Houston's in danger of losing that number 1 seed. They do not have an easy schedule coming up. But let's get to it.
All right, I just wanted to say one thing.
Okay. I guess we won't get to it.
We've been pretty porn-centric in our titles the last couple of weeks. We'll try and stay away from that this week.
Fair enough.
I just wanted to throw that out there. I'll try and stay away from the porn references this week.
I'm not guaranteeing anything.
Well, I said I'd try. I didn't guarantee it.
Okay, after a brutal Thursday night game,
again,
which I still think 4 turnovers in 5 plays has got to be a record somewhere. I'm sure somebody's looking that up right now. Well, we start Sunday, and I think the week after we're going to have Saturday games.
Yes.
But luckily that doesn't start yet. Opening game on the board is Denver -3 at Baltimore.
I like Denver in this game.
Me too.
But it scares me for the simple fact that Denver's due to lose a game. I don't think they're going to win out.
No, again, that wouldn't shock me, but it does seem sort of likely. And Baltimore, who's been playing terribly of late, will all of a sudden come up and look like a great team. Firing the offensive coordinator, might be a catalyst. I'd like to stay away from it, though I strongly favor Denver in this.
Yeah, no, I don't want to. Who knows what's going to happen with Baltimore? Like you said, changing offensive coordinators this late in the season doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, although the Titans did it 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, but the Titans aren't a playoff team.
No.
And that's what makes this surprising. When they say it's not the on-field performance, you have to wonder what it was. I mean, some of the rumors that came out was that he had a poisonous relationship with Flacco. And, I mean, who knows? But you never know. It could be a catalyst, which makes me want to avoid the game entirely.
Well, how poisonous could the relationship be when all they did was throw the ball when they have one of the best running backs in the league behind them. Like, it almost seemed like he went out of his way.
Yeah, well, on the elite quarterbacks, one of the best in the league, like it certainly seemed like in the early season at least, Cameron was trying to prop up Flacco.
Well, was he sabotaging him, knowing that he couldn't handle it? Trying to prove that he wasn't a franchise quarterback?
See that. I mean, most of what I know about Cam Cameron was when he was San Diego's offensive coordinator with LT, Breeze, and Rivers at points. And I never heard a thing about a problem with the quarterback relationship with him. So I was a little surprised by that rumor.
Well, all I'm saying is, what if he didn't think he could win with them? You know what I mean? Like, he was holding them back. And if you make him look bad enough, they're not going to re-sign him. Because he's a free agent at the end of this season. So I'm just thinking,
but if you let him throw all the time and he does great, I guess it's a win-win. That seems a little convoluted and Machiavellian, but
well,
it's not outside of the realm of possibility. But I don't think I buy that.
You believe Jason Garrett sabotaged Wade Phillips? So what's the difference?
Because there's evidence there. So the play calling changed instantly on offense when he became interim coach.
Well, maybe it would have changed with Flacco not at quarterback.
Maybe, but I don't even know who their backup is in Baltimore, to be honest.
But there was a stat, Ray Rice carried the ball once in the fourth quarter of their last game?
Well, yeah, and that's why I think, let's look at the most obvious thing. It was due to on-field performance by the offense. I mean, maybe Baltimore's saying all the right things, but I think it is. Well, it's just what it is. The offense was not producing.
Well, and they can't say it's for on-field things when you come off a game where you score 28 points on the road, and your defense couldn't hold the lead. I think they were protecting their defense as much as anything.
Could be. I certainly was not expecting them to do that at this stage. But again, all reasons to avoid it. Pool-wise, I don't think I'm even going to hesitate for a second taking Denver.
Baltimore's pretty good at home. I'm taking Denver to win. I might take Baltimore to cover. It might be one of my P splits.
I don't know. Pittsburgh beat Baltimore at home. Pittsburgh lost at home to San Diego Chargers.
The San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, my San Diego Chargers. And so, yeah, I don't even know that Baltimore has that home mystique about them anymore. Next game up, Green Bay favored by 3 going into Chicago, and I love this game.
Yeah, Green Bay all the way.
Absolutely. I'm ready to bet it right now.
Well, let's see what we got. We might throw it in with a teaser here.
It's a possibility too, but the Bears are on what, a 1-4 run?
Yep.
And they haven't even looked good in that 1-4 run. Cutler, even when he is healthy, seems blind to every receiver but Brandon Marshall. Forte, you barely hear his name anymore.
Well, that's because their offensive line's so bad.
Well, yeah, it all gets down to that. And, Cutler can be great at times, but when he's getting smashed, it doesn't go well for him.
Well, the one thing with Chicago, their pass defense has been pretty solid this year. And Green Bay hasn't been that explosive when Jordy Nelson isn't on the field. Like teams you think they should blow out, they squeak by and struggle. I like Green Bay in this game too. I don't think it's going to be a blowout because Green Bay's defense isn't that great.
No, Green Bay's defense is pretty poor.
And
their offense isn't what it was 2 years ago.
Well, they don't have Chicago with Urlacher out. Their weakness should be the running game, and Green Bay can't run the ball.
Well, it'll also be middle passes, over the middle, because, even though he was slow, Urlacher was still smart enough to always be in the right position in the middle of the field, so I can see Green Bay working the short passes over the middle as
To
well.
who?
That's
Jermichael
true.
Finley?
Dropsy.
Like, I do like Green Bay in this game, but
Not as confident as me, so...
I'm
it's
just-
definitely in the mix. I'd be surprised if we didn't have some wager involving this game.
No, I'm thinking it's going to be on the board somewhere, but it's just they've both been really inconsistent teams.
But not bad teams. I mean, they don't fall into our two terrible teams playing each other.
And in a game like this, I always go with a better quarterback, which is
Rodgers and the better coach as well.
And the other thing in favor of betting for Green Bay or picking them in your pools is the first game they played, Chicago shut down Green Bay offensively. What did they score, 17 points? Was it 17-7?
Might have been 20, but right in that range.
Green Bay sacked Cutler like a gazillion times that game. I'm thinking like half a dozen or 7.
Yeah, but they're past. I mean, that was with Clay Matthews.
I think he's back this week, though.
I don't think he'll be 100%, even if he is. But yeah, I think almost anyone can get through the pass blocking of that O-line. I mean, we've said that for years. It'll be a miracle if Chicago quarterbacks can stay healthy, and nothing has improved.
No. And it's probably going to cost Lovie Smith his job.
I've been saying that for years, man.
Because if
Marvin Lewis, Norv Turner, I don't know what these guys have on there.
Yeah, but they could both make the playoffs. Well, Norv Turner, no, but Cincinnati and Chicago are in playoff spots right now.
Wow. If you watch that game tonight, that undisciplined, terrible penalties. I mean, if the ball wasn't coated in some kind of hot sauce so Philly wouldn't hold on to it. It burns our hands.
Yeah.
Because Philly was outplaying them to that disastrous sequence. But next game up, we have Indianapolis getting 9 points going to Houston.
That line is ridiculous.
That was my thought too. It's so ridiculous to me.
But
I'm frightened of it.
The only thing is that Indy against good teams on the road,
even some mediocre ones,
they don't play that well.
Though they have improved. I mean, I know you're thinking of the drubbing the Jets put on them.
Well, not only that, but against Detroit, they still gave up 31 points. Like they're a different team at home. But
that's very much cause for concern, but I'm not against it, though.
I wouldn't mind teasing this one. Because I don't think they get beat by 2 touchdowns.
No, I don't think so either. And I mean, Houston played better in, quarters 3 and 4. But they didn't show a lot that impressed me. And Wade Phillips, and I do like him as a defensive coordinator. When his teams get behind, they do just start blitzing from all over. And that's just lunacy against Brady.
Yeah. And they were knocking him down. He was getting rid of it just before he got hit a lot of the times.
He took a lot of contact in that game. But just before isn't a sack, and he was hitting the open man almost all the time. I mean, I just think big blitzing against Brady is doomed to failure.
Well, and even Andrew Luck, I think, will pick up on that. So I wouldn't mind keeping this one in the mix. I know I've been on Houston.
Yeah, no, I don't mind this in the mix either, though I'd much prefer it as a tease.
Yeah.
But at 9 points, I mean, I'm probably going to split it even in the pool without a tease.
Yeah.
The line seems at least 2 points too high to me.
Yes. Maybe 3.
Yeah, between 2 and 3. And that just makes me jumpy sometimes when a line is that suspicious.
Well, especially after the way they played in New England. And
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
maybe
well,
they're
it's a
taking that
shorter
into
week.
account.
Yeah, but how did Houston do after Green Bay crushed them at home? Did they come back and crush their next opponent?
I can look that up.
Okay, I'm going to intro the next game here.
Okay.
Jacksonville gets 7.5 going to Miami.
Stay away.
It's a stay away, but I'm favoring Jacksonville in this game. Or Miami, rather.
Yes.
7.5.
Yeah, they beat Baltimore 43-13, that Houston.
Okay.
Maybe that's what they're basing it on.
But
yeah.
I haven't seen their running game come loose lately. It seems like most teams are playing for that cutback on the zone run against them. I have not seen Houston's run game explode unless they have a lead and they're putting games away. And then they pick up a lot of fourth quarter yards, which is fine. That's not a criticism, really. But they're not running that game, and I don't see any receiver beyond Andre Johnson, and I'm not that impressed with Schaub.
No, they're a running based team, and if they get behind, they're not coming back from 14 down. But if they're within a touchdown and they can run, because they did it to Detroit, they still kept pounding the ball in the third and the fourth quarter. So
yeah, that's a good example.
And Indy's defense is one of the worst pass defenses in the league. So if Schaub doesn't light them up, they're in trouble.
Yeah, if Schaub doesn't light them up, we've made that point.
All right, let's get back to Miami and Jacksonville. I stay away from this game, and if it was 7, I'd say Miami both ways. Miami's not a team that blows out a lot of people to be given 7.5. Seems high. Like maybe 5 at home would be reasonable that you'd want to bet on them.
Well, Miami's defense is playing really, really well lately. And I almost get the impression that they're thinking Jacksonville won't score more than 6. You know?
Yeah, that could
kind
be.
of line. 14-6, 17-6. I think the line is based on the defense, not on the defense scoring points, but being able to pretty much shut down Jacksonville.
Well, we might be able to tease this one down. I like Miami at 1.5.
Yeah, we'll see if we have better options. Both of our instincts on this were to stay away.
Well, yeah, it's one mediocre team and one crap team, so yeah. Anything can happen with Chad Henne, too.
Oh, it's his vengeance game. He's come back to Miami.
Oh, yeah. Well, I might take Jacksonville. I might split that one. Well, I might split it anyway, just on that extra half point.
Okay, just the way we're talking, we're staying away from this game. This is not going in the mix.
Come on.
Our next game, the somewhat surprising Vikings are going to the very surprising Rams.
Well, this is winners out of the playoff game. Or losers out of the playoff game, sorry.
Yeah, but what I can't believe is that either one of them were in the playoffs or in the playoff picture at all in Week 15 anyway.
Well, no, we'd bet against
Minnesota
and how many wins they were going to get. I'm just pulling my sheets here. What was it? How many wins was it for them?
6.5.
Yeah, they've already passed that.
Yeah. Well, neither one of us, and very few people, I think, expected that Adrian Peterson is not a human.
Well, let's see. I think we might have lost all our preseason bets already. We lost Seattle.
No, we still got Cleveland live.
We lost Seattle. We lost Tampa. They were under 6. We lost the Vikings. We still have Dallas open to win the AFC.
Or NFC East. If they won the AFC.
We lost Indy.
I thought we had Cleveland and Miami as well.
Yeah, we got Cleveland and Miami. What's Cleveland? 4.5?
5.5, I thought.
My eyes aren't what they used to be. Is that 6.5?
Yeah, it was definitely higher than 4.5 because we predicted them at 4 wins.
Yeah, it's plus 6.5. And then we had Miami plus 7.5 under. Oh, so we're still live on 2.
Yeah, Bill. Though I guess futures may not be our business.
Okay. Well, who's predicting Indy's turning around like that?
Yeah, and
like if it wasn't for Adrian Peterson, they'd have 2 wins, being like a beast. Because Christian Ponder's awful.
Yes, he is. Luck is that good, though that team has been inspired by the Chuck Strong saga.
Yeah.
They're playing way over their heads, and credit to them. Again, that's not a negative, but I think that becoming such a rallying point has accounted for 3 or 4 wins for that team.
Ooh, Miami's got 5 wins.
So we want them to lose out, but unfortunately they're playing Jacksonville.
Well, no, but it's 7.5.
Oh, 7.5. Okay.
Yeah, they have Jacksonville and Buffalo coming up next. And then they have New England on the road as their final game. So we're pretty good. We need them to lose 1 out of the last 3. Could care less. Could care less who it is.
Fair enough.
To be honest.
Okay, but to move back to the surprising Vikings and the even more surprising Rams. This is a stay away for me, too.
Yeah. Because they're both inconsistent. I'm leaning towards the Rams. Because with no passing, when Jeff Fisher has Cortland Finnegan one-on-one, they can play man coverage on the corners and put 9 guys in the box. Or 8.5, you know what I mean? They'll have 8 bucks, and the safety will be lurking behind. They're not. How is he going to run?
Oh, and I think Minnesota might go kind of like the Chris Johnson 2,000-yard season. They might not be playing so much to win as to try to get a record for their guy, or at least to 2,000. You know, so in spite of that, we could see 30 carries at 5 yards a carry for the Vikings. I'm leaning towards St. Louis. We're certainly not betting it.
No. But they can't see. Here's what's going to hold Peterson back. They need wins. So if they get behind, they can't just keep feeding them the ball 30 times.
I mean, they're still theoretically alive. I don't really treat that seriously.
Oh, I'm going to look and see who they play here. So they've got St. Louis, then at Houston, and at home to Green Bay. Yeah, they're not making the playoffs.
Yeah, they're not running that table. And if they do, well, bravo. Bravo to them. Our next game up are the Giants are getting 1.5 going to Atlanta.
I love this game.
Love's a little strong for me, but I like it a lot. The Giants match up really well against Atlanta. All the little bullshit things that Atlanta was doing wrong and still getting wins caught up to them last week. Yeah, I assume you're talking about the Giants.
Oh, definitely. Because it's Atlanta, they have the most wins of 7 points or less in the league. And here's how the money was working on this one. The Giants are plus 1.5 and minus 115. They're essentially the favorite on the spread, even though they're plus 1.5.
A half point on the money line, really, because usually we pay 9%.
Well, it's plus 100 on the money line for the Giants to win. I think I would bet that right now.
Let's again see what we've got, but that is definitely in the mix. I am completely with you.
And Atlanta hasn't run the ball effectively for the majority of this season. they've squeaked out wins against some really bad teams. And I don't know if Matt
They've had a
Schaub
lot of crazy luck and have been the beneficiaries of terrible coaching in some cases by the other teams.
Yeah.
There were two that they flat out stole by the other team's late game ineptitude.
Yeah, which
the
one do
first
you think?
Carolina game,
Yeah.
and there was another one where that happened as well.
Oakland?
Oh, yeah. So, if that one, I think if we bet it, that might just be a money line bet.
Yes. That's what I was thinking. Giants got to keep winning to win that division.
They have to.
'Cause
Yeah, if they are going to put on their patented late season run, the time is nigh.
because both Dallas and Washington are only a game behind. And if I'm not mistaken, has Washington played the Giants twice already?
Yeah, they split.
And so did Dallas. So it's going to come down to some complicated tiebreaker if they end up with the same amount of wins.
Yeah, and that's...
You don't want to... The Giants have to win out to win the division. I believe.
That's an excellent point.
So...
No, I like that a lot. I do want to look at the rest of the board.
Oh, yeah. But
it's one of our more interesting weekends in a while.
And the
with
Giants...
a lot of games.
And the Giants handled Atlanta last year, 23-2 or something in New York.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They seem to have an answer. And
no, that wasn't even in New York, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Matt Schaub, I don't know if he's...
Ryan.
Or Matt Ryan. He's more like Joe Flacco than I think a lot of people want to make out. They're trying to make star quarterbacks out of these guys when they're not. They've been trying to make Ryan a star since his rookie season.
Yeah, Matty Ice. But, I mean, he's a good quarterback, by the way.
He's average.
He's above average.
No, he's not. With the talent they have on receiver and tight end.
Yeah, well, yeah.
They should
Roddy,
be blowing
Julio.
guys out, those Raiders and
like
they
even
Denver.
They even have two backs of different styles, which is usually great for the passing game. Trust me, I mean, when we had Turner and LT in San Diego, how did that passing game look?
Yeah.
Pretty fucking good.
And they just, if your quarterback's elite, when you have that much talent, when you have Jones and Roddy White and Tony Gonzalez to throw to, you should, I know they're 11-2, but they should be beating people more convincingly.
Yep.
I can't figure it out. Because playoff time comes around, a team with a good defense is shutting them down, and that's the Giants this week. So that's my
Plus,
argument.
Atlanta has sealed their division. I mean, if not in actuality, in pretty much all practicality.
Well, I think it's done now.
Yeah, I think it's done. I wasn't certain, but, you know, no one's catching them in the South.
Oh, Tampa's not at 8 wins, so there's nobody catching them.
All right, and that brings us to the next game, another Battle of the South. Tampa Bay is getting 4 at New Orleans. This is a stay away. Yes.
Who knows what Tampa's going to do?
Who knows what New Orleans is going to do?
Pool.
They find new and creative ways to flounder around. Who knows? Maybe they'll be inspired by the bounty case ruling or overturning.
That doesn't. Well, I'm leaning New Orleans in this game because they threw the ball all over on Tampa when they were in Tampa, and they're a better team at home. So I think it's New Orleans, but yeah, the whole bounty gate thing, I just got to say one thing. We hit it right on the head in our preseason podcast that we did almost exclusively on it, where we said, how can this be on the players when if you don't do what the coach tells you, you get cut? And that's basically what Tagliabue said, that it was too contaminated by the coaches, that you couldn't put it, that they do what the coaches tell them, or they get cut. So how can you blame the players? Easy enough.
Yeah, we were right on that. In the off season, we're going to have to readdress a bounty gate, because this overturning is funny, and I love seeing Roger Goodell with a blowtorch put to his nuts.
Well, and this is a little bit of, I can't believe that Goodell would bring in Tagliabue to do this.
Well, that was the guy who basically appointed him to the job. He thought he thought that the fix was it.
But there was rumblings that Tagliabue was pissed off about all the great publicity and credit Goodell was getting for the league being in the place it could be, and Tagliabue not receiving enough credit.
Well, it was all fucking Roselle anyway, assholes.
Oh, I know. He kneecapped him. Basically, he hit him across the back of the head with a baseball bat when he was supposed to come in. When he was supposed to come in and rubber stamp it. That's why Goodell brought him in.
Well, yeah, and I think that was what Goodell thought. But Tagliabue is a lawyer and is cognizant of it doesn't just end there. You know, he could end up getting named in lawsuits himself and being part of a cover-up. I mean, Tagliabue was a boring caretaker commissioner, but for all of that, he was relatively honest. I believe did what he could, you know.
Yeah, but he was also part of the group that said concussions weren't a problem.
That's true, and I don't know the history timeline on the whole concussion thing. Like, I'd like to see someone do a more comprehensive breakdown of what the NFL knew and when they knew it, but...
Well, they knew it back in the late 90s, maybe even
that's
earlier.
What I've heard, but I haven't actually read any documentation that proves that point. It's just being thrown out there as an accepted fact, and I don't know where
Marlon,
anyone is getting that info.
Marlon, there was articles back then about the dangers of concussions, and the NFL would come out and say that our experts say there's no conclusive evidence yet on what concussions can do.
Okay,
that's documented. You could look that up.
Oh yeah,
and
I have to, and I don't.
That's what they're saying. That's why they're getting sued. Because that's like the tobacco companies telling you that tobacco isn't harmful to your health. And that's what the NFL was doing.
I understand that point. I should know more about it, but I want to keep my opinion on that kind of out because I'm self-admittedly ignorant of a lot of the details of it. So my opinion has no value on this particular subject.
That's why they're suing him, though. Why all these ex-players are suing him. Like, you can't, the guys from the 70s don't really have, because there wasn't any studies. But the guys from about the mid-90s on, I think, have a case.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'd like to know about which years does it really matter. Because if both sides are not aware of it, I don't see how you hold one side culpable.
Well, no, that's why I'm saying you can only, from that certain point, when the studies started to come out and show... And that the NFL didn't really do anything until, it's been 3 years they started doing stuff? 2-3 years? Where they put in concussion protocol and all that other shit. Yeah,
and even then, that was a sham for the longest time. I mean,
well, it still is. They wouldn't be playing Thursday night games if they were worried about player safety.
Well, yeah, and, the Steelers for how long had concussion-like symptoms? Well, it's not concussion-like symptoms. It's a fucking concussion, guys.
Yeah.
But they're the Steelers, the darlings.
So, on this New Orleans game, I think I'm going New Orleans both ways.
I haven't decided yet on this one. New Orleans has been breaking my heart and screwing me over, so I don't know. I might just take a bitter... Well, and so is Tampa, though, too. So, I really don't know. That might be a coin flipper for me on Sunday.
Well, Tampa's going in the dumper, I think. And that crowd in New Orleans will be hopping and...
Well, yeah, New Orleans at home is better. You're probably right, but I haven't committed. 4 points seems like a lot for a team that seems to be struggling. You know, each week a different facet of their game struggles, whether it's 5 picks from Breeze, or the special teams not even taking the field, or the defense just letting opponents march up and down. I don't know how I can lay 4 with them in good conscience.
Fair enough.
Our next game is off the board for obvious reasons, Washington at Cleveland.
Yeah, the cornball brother might not play. What an idiot.
Yeah.
I can't even remember his name from ESPN.
I have no idea their personalities or anything. I just read it. Yeah, he's not really black.
Yeah, he would, and he said that
Tiger
his
Woods was vilified
blackness.
for saying that he was of mixed race because he wasn't black enough. I don't.
Well, he stopped short of calling him. He was like one rung on the ladder away from calling him Uncle Tom.
See, I didn't read the full thing. That was just the thing.
Well, no, but just what he said,
a guy,
like
a shit disturber, which we are too. But
is he black enough? The braids help his blackness. He's a cornball brother. It's basically code for Uncle Tom.
Okay, cornball brother. I honestly hadn't heard that particular segment. So.
Yeah, that's what he said. He called him a cornball brother, and you're basically saying he's an Uncle Tom.
Wow.
Which is the worst thing or the most insulting thing you can say to a black person in the U.S.
Well, particularly from
another black person.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the most insulting thing in their community. So I don't know how the guy keeps his job.
Yeah. Now, one thing I want to bring up about this game is closed. But I think it's almost too bad that Washington has an outside look at the playoffs. Because I think this would be a simple decision if they were a 5-win team right now. You do not mess with the most popular athlete in DC history, probably.
But this is Michael Vick syndrome here. This is what they talked about all year. You can't keep taking hits like that when you're that size. And if he's going to keep doing that, he may be an elite talent, but if he can't stay on the field, that speed he has and scrambling ability and all that stuff doesn't matter when you get a couple of knees chopped up.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't think even crazy old Shanahan is stupid enough to put him in this game against a very tough and physical Cleveland team.
Oh, no, Marlon, I'm not even saying that. I'm talking long-term career.
Oh, yeah, that's
how
another
you keep
debate.
him on the field, though. It's Marlon. What if you're...
Well, you stop running those options. That's the first thing you do, because the guy's throwing at a 67% accuracy rate. I see no need for that option read play to be in their playbook anymore.
Well, I hate it. I don't care who's running it. Kaepernick, Ponder, Locker, Newton, Griffin, all these guys, it's college.
Yeah.
You're either a quarterback or you're a running back. Which one are you? I get you have to scramble. Dalton scrambled tonight a few times. I get it. It's a weapon. But you're paid to throw the ball.
Yeah. The occasional quarterback draw in the red zone, nice play, often works. But, yeah, either come up to the CFL, and I think Griffin has proven he has the tools to develop into a proper pocket passer.
But they all the quarterbacks with speed like to run. I don't know if it's an ego thing or what. Just got to show it off here or there. And
maybe it's just they're so used to being the fastest guy they've ever known, and there are guys close to as fast who outweigh you by 40 pounds in this league.
They close a little quicker and they hit a little harder in the NFL. And I'm just worried about it's been talked about all year. Like if they're 9-4 or 8-5 and tied with the Giants, this was my point, is how do you keep him out of the game? Then you can't think about his safety. You got to put him in. Who gives you the best chance at winning and getting in the playoffs? The coaches don't give a shit if they're 8-5 and tied with the Giants and they need this win to win the division and get in the playoffs, because the coaches are paid to win.
Yeah, that's
not
true.
Not paid to protect players.
No one's going, or Schneider is certainly not going to 2 years down the road look at Shanahan and say, you did the right thing with RG3. Unfortunately, we haven't made the playoffs in 3 years.
Yeah, gotta let you go.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't happen. So if they think they have a shot at the playoffs right now, RG3's playing.
Did you see his presser afterwards, or the clip?
No.
He's going, yeah, I knew it was a hard hit. When I hit it, I screamed like a man, of course.
That was an awful hit, but he's going to get those all. He's been hit like about a dozen times like that this year. Concussion already.
Yeah, that big one when Atlanta was playing them. Oh, there's another game Atlanta stole. But yeah, I mean, Shanahan keeps saying he's going to stop running that zone read, but just do so. You know, I can't believe how well he's done when their best receiver is Santana Moss. It just blows my mind.
No, he's been great, but it still comes down, I think, long term if he can stay healthy. Because if he's going to run,
he's a very similar build to Michael Vick, at least to eyeballs. I don't know their vital stats, but your Vick comparison is valid.
And he's a better passer than Vick. I'm not comparing them skill wise. It's just if you're that slight, you can't get pounded. Like just taking the hits in the pocket are going to be enough.
Yeah,
you get knocked out.
Yeah, no, and that's obviously what they should do, and I kind of think they should sit him here if there's any question at all. But
they should be able to beat Cleveland with Cousins quarterbacking.
I don't know about that, but I mean, why not roll the dice on it?
Well, they have a great running game. They have a pretty solid defense, especially against a quarterback like Brandon Weeden. I would say Cousins might be as good as Weeden. And I haven't even seen Cousins play, but he showed some pretty big cojones there when he came in and threw that touchdown pass.
That's true, and there's probably not enough film to really game plan him either from Cleveland. But
whichever team has the most rushing yards in this game is winning the game.
Yeah, and
I think
Richardson has kind of slowed down, and so I kind of give that edge to Morris, and I think his line's better too.
I'm going to go Washington in this game, regardless of who's quarterbacking.
That's a compelling case.
I don't have as much faith in Brandon Weeden as a lot of people, although I do like Cleveland's defense. And
I like the way Cleveland plays in general, but I don't like their coaching.
And they have a bad coach.
And honestly, I don't know how Weeden has the wins he does.
Their defense.
He's just freaking brutal.
It's their defense.
Next game up, we can't bet it. Carolina is getting 3 going to San Diego. Hey, I was delighted to see San Diego beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. I mean, I hadn't seen it since '94, which is, that was like the year I met Craig, who is the friend we met through. So that's been a long time. Now, that said, San Diego has struggled with mobile quarterbacks all year and last year. If Carolina comes in with any kind of up-tempo offense and, I'm not saying run him or option read him, I'm just saying roll him out on boots, roll him out, keep Cam Newton moving around, Carolina will destroy San Diego.
Well, I'm leaning towards the underdog in this one too. Just San Diego hasn't played very well at home. They're kind of Jekyll and Hyde, but isn't this when Norv Turner wins football games though in December?
A little bit, and Rivers too. But on the other hand, there's something emotional about finally picking up a win in Pittsburgh. That Rivers went to the team and was just saying, "Look, we haven't won here since the playoff game in '94. We can finally get that off our backs." There's not that kind of history and emotion here. I think that was San Diego's last gasp. I enjoyed it. That score flattered the Steelers. The Chargers absolutely curb stomped them. It made me smile.
Yes, I was smiling at that game as well, even though I picked it wrong in the pool.
Oh, I totally picked it wrong myself. So this isn't a knee-jerk, but something from watching a lot of Chargers games. A quarterback who can slide, move in the pocket, tends to give them fits. The defense of the Chargers has been playing pretty well, but I still think if they just keep rolling Newton around, moving the pocket around, Carolina shouldn't have that much trouble.
Yeah, I think I might split this one. When you have two bad teams, the home team gets an edge for me.
Yeah, with at least 11,000 seats not sold, that home field advantage.
No, but it's still Carolina's flying across the country, one coast to the other.
Yeah, that's true. It's a big time zone change,
and they're playing early.
Well, you see that? No, they're not.
Yeah,
it's an afternoon
14:05.
game.
Oh no, they're not. Sorry.
Yeah, that's an afternoon game. So we can't bet it. I'm leaning heavily at Carolina. Though, hey, even when I go against them, when the Chargers win, I was reminded last week, hasn't happened often this year, that I still really enjoy watching my Chargers win.
Yeah, and I was still, well, we'll get to that in the Titans game.
Fair enough. Our next game up is Detroit giving up 6.5 in the desert.
I like Detroit here.
I do. We can't bet them.
No, if we can't win betting with them, betting against them,
they're our
teasing them,
team.
fucking not teasing them. It's they tend to tease us. It's not us teasing them. It's them teasing us. I think they should destroy Arizona. They're going back to that rookie quarterback this week.
Oh, Ryan Lindley.
Yeah, Detroit should win this game by 14. Easily.
Detroit, I mean, I've said it before even in this podcast, they're finding new and creative ways to lose. It's just...
They should have been up 17-0 at the half in Green Bay. That was just stupid. Stupid, that game.
Yeah, I don't know what they do. They find a way to lose at the end of a game. I mean, there's montages now of Stafford's face of anguish.
Well, and some of the time it wasn't even his fault.
Like
the Indy game, they couldn't get a stop.
Oh, I know. Well, and you know what? Yeah, that ball went behind him. I mean, I've seen every quarterback, including Brady and Peyton Manning, do that at some point in their career. It's gonna happen when it's rain/snow, all of that. I don't blame him for that much of it, and that team has a lot of talent, but stupid penalties combined with inopportune turnovers and a really bad defense beyond the front line, who isn't even that good and probably takes as many penalties as they make big stops.
Yeah. I was really impressed with Fairley, though. He looked really good in that Green Bay game. Sue's not... He was a lot of hype coming out of college, had a good rookie year. He's probably average.
He's absorbing double teams on almost every play, though. And he still gets through sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, watch a Lions game. There at no point is he ever matched one-on-one. I mean, he's just sucking up O-linemen and letting Fairley and some of that linebacking.
Yeah, but how many times was Reggie White single covered? Like, at some point, if you're elite, you should get through.
Well,
like,
I hope no one had
compared
Ndamukong to Reggie White yet.
No, but I'm just saying, as an example, even fucking Albert Hainsworth, he still fucking would blow up the line as a nose tackle. And
Sue still occasionally does, but then he finishes it with a kick to the nuts or a head stomp.
Or something. Like,
yeah.
He
takes more bad penalties. Oh, yeah. I think he's potentially elite, though. I'm not writing him off.
J.J. Watt's a better defensive lineman than Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
He gets to the quarterback on double teams and is hitting them at least when, like, he's half a step off. He's at least getting there.
Well, there's that, too. And when the O-lineman just backpedals and tries push-off, he's fine with just staying there watching the play and trying for the swat down, shutting off half the field without a rush. Watt's a smart player. Yeah, we can't bet it. I favor Detroit here, too, because Arizona's offense...
It's sad.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch that. That 58-0 was...
There's probably only one guy in Canada going to watch that game. Oh, no, I guess Ontario has a lot of Lion fans, but...
Oh, Mitch, yeah.
Mitch, in Western Canada, there's going to be one guy watching that game.
Yeah, but if it's not a blowout, I mean, how is he going to feel? It's like, say it's close at the end. Wouldn't the terror be, oh my God, we could lose to the Cardinals of the desert?
And they could. But I'm favoring Detroit in that one as well.
Okay, our next game is in Canada. Seattle and Buffalo meet in Toronto. Seattle is giving 6. Now,
why does Buffalo do these games in Toronto? There's no home field advantage.
No, there isn't unless they go to a 4-4 split, which is reasonable because there is a huge Bills fan base in Toronto because you just get on the bus, travel down, go to the game, get liquored, and travel back. I've talked to dozens of people who've done that regularly and became Bills fans, right?
No, I've got a buddy that does that too, but if you turn to that game on Sunday and listen to the crowd, you won't hear it. Like, there's none. They get no benefit from the elements, from the cold, nothing by going to Toronto. They take away all that makes them hard to beat at home in the winter.
Yeah, but they're not making a pile of money in Buffalo, and at least Ralph Wilson. I mean, he's had opportunities to move that team out of northern New York State a lot of times. If he's catching extra cash and trying to build a cross-border fan base, I've got nothing against that.
But it ruins your team. It takes away a certain advantage for your team. So what he says he wants to win a Super Bowl before he's dead. Well, you don't do that by taking your team up to Toronto.
Most home teams have not shown any advantage in wins or losses this year. How much is that home field really worth?
No, but when you have the weather on your side, that should be one of your big advantages.
Yeah.
And Seattle gets a break here, too, by playing late. Not having to play the early game.
Yeah, not having to play the early game, and as you said, not a true road field. I like it. I like Seattle at 6.
Yes, I do, too.
Might be in the mix, even, for me.
Maybe a tease it's for me.
One mediocre team versus a crappy team. So it's probably not my favorite pick on the board.
No, but our favorite picks last week got blown out. So I'm not against switching it up a little bit.
True enough.
And one
Buffalo
other thing with Seattle, they're not a great road team. It hasn't mattered really who they played. Maybe they turned the corner beating Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago is a really good example, and now all of a sudden, the Niners have a really tough matchup this week. Seattle could leapfrog them to lead the West.
Then that's crazy. When there would be 3-4 or 3-5 on the road, and Seattle finishes up at home
against the Niners.
Yeah. No, they play Week 16 Niners.
Oh, Week 16 Niners.
Yeah,
I mean, well, they could seal it then.
I could be wrong, but
I thought it was 17, but I could be wrong. But like this game suddenly is huge for Seattle, and that's why I like it, in spite of them being on the road. And even with Chicago's O-line troubles and all of that, I think they're a better team than Buffalo.
Yes.
Buffalo can't platoon their backs because Jackson is gone now. So we'll have to see.
No, I like Seattle in that game.
I like them quite a bit.
No, the San Francisco game's Week 16. It's the Sunday nighter. That's going to be a good one.
And Seattle could come in with the upper hand very conceivably this week. If they win and the Niners lose, which again is certainly a possibility,
yeah,
they leapfrog. Our next game, we're not watching, not betting. I almost don't want to acknowledge its existence. Kansas City is +3 at Oakland.
Well, pool-wise, and I'm not going to go into too much detail on this game because nobody cares about it, I would go Oakland in this game. After Cleveland destroyed Kansas City on the road. They got their one emotional bump from that whole mess that went down a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then reality sets in and you're just a bad football team that lost one of your buddies in a senseless act of violence. So
yeah,
I can't see him winning this game.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Is Jamal Charles playing? Do we know?
He
came back last week. It's Dwayne Bowe.
Yeah, Bowe's out for the year. As far as I understand.
There goes their only receiver. So yeah, take Oakland both ways in this one, folks.
Yeah, but don't put a mortgage on it. Our next game, Pittsburgh is laying 2 going to Dallas.
I like Dallas in this game.
So do I. This is another one of those lines where I'm scratching my head.
The display Pittsburgh showed against San Diego
at home,
and now you're going on the road to, I think, a tougher defense, and Pittsburgh's offensive line's in shambles still.
I don't know that Dallas' defense is that much tougher, by the way.
It is.
San Diego's defense is not bad.
No, but Dallas has a better pass rush. Their corners are better.
The Ware may or may not play. He has a hyperextended elbow.
He'll have a big pad on it. He'll be playing. If it's just an arm, he'll be playing. And Roethlisberger's obviously not healthy.
No, he's not. He did not have any of that ability to move around in the pocket, and even his throws didn't look right to me in terms of accuracy or velocity.
And there's something going on in that locker room. They suspended Mendenhall. He didn't even bother showing up for the game on Sunday. He's been a healthy scratch the last couple of weeks. Is that whole Pittsburgh mystique? Have they lost some of their, how they let all their leaders go all the time?
Well, Mendenhall sucks, and I've said this for years, and whenever I say he really, really sucks, that's the one of 3 good games he has every year is right after I rip him. I've never liked him. I don't think he's a good player. I've never liked Mendenhall, and if he wasn't a Steeler, he would be just another faceless running back in a platoon system somewhere.
No, I'm not disagreeing with it, but there's something going on. Pittsburgh never had this type of turmoil around them. Ever. I don't remember anything remotely close to this, of all this crap going on around them. And they're on the downslide here. Pittsburgh and Baltimore in the next 2 years will be fighting just to get in the playoffs.
Well, it's going to turn into a division where who wins the division is in. You don't automatically take your wild card out of the North anymore, I don't think.
No, well, if
now,
you do, it'll be
Cincinnati. I mean, I'd like to see Cleveland come up and grab the rings from them there. I'm not certain, though, that either Cincy or Cleveland has a good enough organization to take advantage of the decline of those 2 teams.
That's true.
But this game, yeah, I like Dallas.
I think this is a money line bet. 2 points is... I know we got burnt on it before not taking the points, but if we're taking the Giants plus 1.5, we're taking Dallas if we're betting the money line on that game, we're taking Dallas on the money line if that's the way we're going. That's my
thought. Sounded like an ultimatum.
Yeah, either
No,
Vita.
but I don't actually disagree with you at all there. Because that was another one, too. And, I mean, it's two desperate teams. This could be a really entertaining game.
Well, and the nice thing for Dallas is they'll know what the other two teams have done before they take the field. The Giants and the Skins play early, and Dallas plays late.
Well, and Dallas has to play on the presumption that at least one of those two teams is going to win.
Yes, but Dallas has to win out to have any shot at the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So, say Washington loses with RG3 on the sidelines. That's one less team they have to worry about. But I think they're way more talented than Pittsburgh. They're younger than Pittsburgh. Better running game than Pittsburgh right now. And
weirdly enough, I think the whole Des Bryant broken finger, I'm going to play anyway, though it seems manufactured a little bit, I think it might actually work for Dallas.
Well,
I mean, how many more balls can he drop, broken finger or not?
Was that the finger that hit out of bounds? Maybe they should just cut that one off.
It does us no good. We'll have to look into that. No, I like Dallas. It's certainly in the mix, and I think you're probably right. It's a money line bet.
You know what? That finger could cost us our preseason bet on Dallas winning the East.
I never looked at that.
No, I'm just saying. It's one play out of 16 games.
Well,
But,
yeah, not trying to get your kicker any closer than 53 against Baltimore is another play that could have cost us, and I put that one right on Mr. Garrett.
look at how much. That's 2. That's leading the division, and we're looking like.
Yeah, we look like fools, and yeah, that's just 2 games.
And they're in first place.
Yeah.
By 2 games. Because the Giants lose a game. Fuck. Because they'd have the tiebreaker on them, so it's basically 2 games on the Giants.
Anyway, spilt milk.
We're going Dallas on that one.
Oh, yeah, pool-wise, that's definitely our
They're
opinion.
plus 110 at home. Ugh, don't get it.
Our next game up, San Fran is getting 6, crossing the country to New England.
Man, this is going to be a great football game.
I was kind of hoping for that with Houston, New England, but
No.
the Niners are much better than Houston.
San Francisco's defense will keep this game close. If J.J. Watt was getting there, how many sacks is Alden Smith going to get?
Well, hopefully enough to get that a-hole Strahan off the record books.
I don't mind Strahan.
No, actually, I don't mind him in a lot of ways. It was bragging about that record when Favre gave him that phantom sack. Still sticks in the back of my throat.
No, it was a cheap way to get the record, but
That it still bugs me. And then he made an ad going, "Look, here I am in the record books." It's like, we all know it was bullshit. A phantom sack for you to actually take money to brag about it. I haven't forgiven him for that, so I just hope someone breaks the record. Yeah, you're right. I think New England's going to come out running a lot. I don't want us to bet this one. This one's entertainment.
I might bet this one. I might bet this one on my own.
Yeah, I'm not with you on this.
No, I know. I'm just saying I might bet this one on my own. Just what teams have given Tom Brady fits? Giants. The Niners are the closest thing to the Giants as a defense that there is in football.
Or even the old school Jets.
Heavy pass rush, great linebackers. I don't know how
underrated and solid secondary.
And like Patrick Willis can run with Aaron Hernandez. No problem. Best middle linebacker in football. And that may be where Houston is lacking now with D'Amico Ryans, even though he didn't look great playing for Philly tonight. That's a big chunk out of their defense. But pool-wise, I'm splitting it.
Yeah, pool-wise, I'm going to split this too and just hope that Sunday night is as entertaining as it is on paper.
And I know I said this about Houston last week, mistakenly. I honestly think San Francisco can win this game. I don't know how they're...
If they can survive the first quarter.
They just have to get to Brady and up the middle. They have to come up the middle. That's why the Giants beat him. They got in his face. They weren't coming from the outside. You have to come up the middle and get so he can't step into
he's too fast. When you come from the outside, you're giving him an extra half second, and that's all Tom needs. Yeah,
the Giants beat him with pressure up the middle so that the pocket wasn't there and he had to move off his spot. He'll get knocked down all game and still kill you, as he proved against the Texans.
Yeah.
The Niners,
they were getting contact. I haven't seen him get banged around like that in a while.
The only thing that could kill the Niners is Kaepernick turning the ball over.
Yeah.
Like he did in St. Louis. If he turns the ball over a couple of times, New England wins this by 14.
Yeah. Which is why I want us to stay away. I understand your reasoning, but I'm even going to split it.
I might just put $5 on San Francisco money line just on my own. Because I think they have really good. I've got a. Their defense is so good, and that's what's always given New England problems the whole time Brady's been there. Pass rush in his face, but it's got to be from the middle. They have to get some heat up the middle. It can't all come from the outside.
All right, and on our final game, which we cannot bet, Jets are getting 2 going to Tennessee.
Woohoo! Home favorite. That hasn't happened in a while.
I suppose, and I can't imagine ESPN is thrilled about this being the Monday Nighter. Tennessee I have some respect for.
Why?
Well, you got no quarterback, but you didn't roll over and die this year.
You know what? The first half of that game last week, he was phenomenal. Dropping him in over the shoulder to Britt. He was hitting everybody. Second half, cost him the game. Lose by 6. He threw a 3-yard interception for a touchdown.
Nice.
What you have Chris Johnson. Screen pass. Something. Safer. Run it. Get him out to the 10. Something. First play. A screen pass to a wideout that the guy jumped like I have no idea what. He was there waiting for it. Not like he jumped it. He was sitting there before the ball even got there. It wasn't like he had to brush the receiver or anything. He was 2 yards away from Nate Washington when he picked that thing off. I blame a little bit of that on play calling. When you got a quarterback he's still a rookie, missed 3-4 games with his shoulder.
You just changed coordinators. I mean,
he's got
expecting Tennessee to be pretty at this stage seems.
And Locker may be better than I thought, but he's played probably the equivalent of maybe a full season now, or not even. He got in a couple of games last year when Hasselbeck got hurt, and he missed 4. So he's played probably 12, 13 games starting. You still have to treat him more like a rookie. Like roll him out. Roll him out in that situation so he can throw the ball out of bounds or if there's nothing open. Just something safe. They were the only 2 guys on that side of the field. If you're going to do something from the end zone, go deep. At least you got the chance for pass interference, and if he picks it off, they're going to start at your 40.
Yeah, it's a punt anyway.
So Munchak's going to get fired at the end of the year. They're going to clean house on all the coordinators and everything, too. The defense hasn't done anything this year, although it's played better of late. They still give up way too many points. And while some of that's on the offense too.
Yeah, I mean, your defense is on a lot of short fields.
Yeah, and like Chicago, that 51 they put up was a lot of that, or whatever it was. 51, yeah, 51.
Yeah, it seemed like 28 was
starting
on the 30-yard line or just defensive scores.
Yeah, so yeah, the defense has been playing pretty well the second half of the year. So the coordinators, Munchak's got to go. He stands on the sideline. He reminds me of Caldwell from Indy. Art Shell, all these guys that just stand there and do nothing. No expression on their face, no emotion, no ripping the heads. Like, just rip it off once. Just once. Just take it off. That's all.
No, I don't disagree.
So.
We can't bet it. I don't know where I'm leaning. I'm probably leaning towards the home team here.
Yeah, I think I'm going Tennessee. I'm out of it anyway. I might as well go against the grain here. I'm going to have to start picking not necessarily who I think is going to win, but against what other people are taking. So if it comes through, I got a chance at winning because I can't win here. I'm going to have to crank her up in the playoffs like I did last year.
You and us both.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we got 2 money line bets.
Do you want to parlay those two?
No.
Okay, bet them straight up.
Yeah.
Okay, we're taking the Giants on the money line. It's plus 100 in Atlanta. $10 will pay us 20. Booked. And we're taking Dallas plus 110 at home to beat Pittsburgh. $10. Stupid thing. $10 pays 21. Booked.
Now, the other games that we had in the mix were Green Bay -3 at Chicago, Indy +9 at Houston, and Seattle.
I like Seattle better than
Indy?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Do we want to tease this? Take Green Bay +3 and Seattle even on a 2-team tease?
Okay. No. I say we take it straight up. It's less than a touchdown in both.
Okay. That's fair.
Seattle's defense is monstrous. And like you said, no Fred Jackson. They have one receiver that really scares you, if that.
No, I'm not against that, and it's worth it on the payout.
Well, Green Bay handled Chicago, and they got to Cutler a bunch of times. And he has one receiver. Brandon Marshall. It's all he throws to.
Yeah. Everyone else is invisible.
Which is great for my fantasy, but it's not good when you're trying to win football games. So,
let's just book that as a 2-team parlay.
Okay, so we have Green Bay -3 at Chicago. And we have Seattle -6 going to Toronto to play Buffalo. $10 bet pays $35.
Oh yeah, that's definitely worth the payout risk.
It cut it in half. With $18.33 was the payout.
Yeah.
So
good call.
That was my reasoning for that. So I guess we'll close it up here. If you want to check out the podcast, you can search for it on iTunes. It's Offensive Lines. You can listen to it on our website, offensivelines.ca. You can also, we just started recently in the last 5-6 weeks, we're posting it on YouTube. So you can check us out on our YouTube channel. It's Offensive Lines. Follow us on Twitter, @Offensive Lines, for any updates on the website or when the podcasts are active. can find us on facebook.com/offensive lines. And if you want to contact the show, it's offensivelines@shaw.ca. I'm Boyd.
I'm Marlon. And enjoy football while we still can.